Hello, Imaginers. It's Kyla coaching you to the career and life that you imagined. And in this episode, I want to talk to you about accidental manifestation. I talked a few weeks ago about manifestation and manifesting meaning, a chef that I love. And the way that I did that was by focusing my brain on the goal. And then my brain started removing all of the elements that didn't relate to that goal. And I lined things up as if by magic and manifested what I wanted. But I've also manifested things that I didn't want, and wondering if some of you might have done the same thing. So today I want to talk to you about accidental manifestation. One of the best movies during my childhood was Ghostbusters. And there's a famous scene at the end of Ghostbusters where they're attempting to rid the city of a monster, and they have to cross their machine power to eliminate said monster. And one of the things that they know is if they are thinking about something, that all of the energy will go into the thing that they're thinking about, which is very similar to manifestation. And one of them, Dan Aykroyd's character, accidentally thinks about the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and turns the character into Godzilla-size marshmallow Stay Puft Man. And that becomes another problem that they have to deal with. And I was thinking the other day that I have accidentally manifested something in my life. Years ago, I started watching many of those home shows around tiny homes. And I loved all of the innovativeness with the organization and the design and the way that they had multi-purpose uses for so many elements in their house. But I think secretly what I most loved is that it would have forced me to get rid of the vast majority of my belongings. And there was something very appealing about that. And I realized recently that I have manifested a tiny house. If you've been following my journey, you know that we recently moved out to 26 acres on a lake, and we went from a 2,800 square foot house in the middle of Dallas to a 240 square feet tiny house on our land. And we're living in there while we build the first structure, which will be the place we live next. It'll be a guest house, and then eventually we'll build our house. But we're going to be living in the guest house next, and the guest house is 600 square feet. I think technically tiny houses are 500 square feet or below, but for the most part, we're going from one tiny house to another tiny house. And even though I sometimes get frustrated in the amount of tiny space we're in, what we have noticed is that our lives have become much more peaceful, much more simple. And in fact, when we were deciding what to get rid of, what to sell, what to donate in our home in Dallas, we thought about what would actually fit into the first place we're actually going to move for a couple of years, and that is the guest house. So we only kept items that would fit into 600 square feet with a loft. And my husband always jokes that I've always wanted a tiny house. So of course, that's where we ended up for a couple of years. And so it got me thinking about all of the things that we accidentally manifest in our lives. And the way that we do that is by continuing to focus our time and effort and energy and thoughts on that decision. And for most of us, we know that bodies in motion stay in motion. And we can't quite explain how we ended up doing the same thing year after year after year. But in reality, we continue to manifest that by thinking the same things, doing the same things. And even if we didn't really want that to be the outcome, we find ourselves in the same situation. I was thinking about this the other day as well, my husband and I celebrated our 3-year wedding anniversary recently, and I joked with him that I was upping for another year, and he kind of laughed at me, but I said, "No, sweetheart, I'm actually really serious. I am very intentional about re-choosing, not just choosing in the first place, but choosing again what I'm going to remain committed to and in." And even though I made a lifelong commitment to my husband, which I have no intention of not honoring, I can't even tell you how empowering and exciting and joyful it was to make that choice again and to not continue manifesting things in my life as much that I don't necessarily want. And so in the week ahead, I hope that you will contemplate what is something that you're accidentally manifesting, and how could you manifest something different? You've heard me talk so often about the analogy of, if you're looking for a new car, that's all you see when you're on the road. And in reality, that car was there all along, but you focused your brain's efforts on it. So I want you to think about, what is something that I want in my career, in my life, in the life that I imagined, the career that I imagined? What's something that you want to manifest? I have so many working mom friends that are contemplating what's going to happen this fall. We've got the Delta variant running rampant, unfortunately, and moms are deciding, do I want to homeschool? And if I do, what does that mean for me in my career? And so I want you to think about, if I want to manifest something different, either by virtue of a decision that's sort of being thrust on me, or a decision that I want to make intentionally, what would that be? How would it be different than what you're manifesting right now? Which is really everything in your life that you have, both the things that you love and maybe the things that you want to change a little bit. If you would like to see some background photos of our tiny house, sign up for my newsletter at kylamartinconsulting.com and go to the inspiration tab. I'd love to share some behind the scenes footage of our tiny house with you. And stay tuned next week, when I'm going to talk about what I have learned from tiny living and the constraint that has actually been incredibly educational. And again, I think helps simplify our lives. Some of that constraint was thrust on me, and some of it I am choosing intentionally, but always continuing to move to intentional living, both in my career and in my life. And that is my wish and hope for you. There's some great resources at kylamartinconsulting.com, including the newsletter, and you can also sign up for a free consult. There is also a free download there for you. And I'm here to help you in any way I can, including cheering you on to the career and life that you imagine. Go out this week and manifest something you actually want. Take care, everyone.